Amara stood at the edge of the village square, her beaded necklace catching the afternoon light. The elders had gathered again, their faces grave as they discussed the approaching river festival. She knew what they whispered about when they thought the children couldn't hear. Another year, another girl gone. Promise me you won't go near the river after dark, her mother said that evening, braiding Amara's hair with trembling fingers. Promise me, child. Amara promised, but her eyes drifted to the window where fireflies danced toward the water's edge. Chief Okonkwo's daughter, Zara, was Amara's closest friend. They'd grown up together, sharing secrets beneath the baobab tree, learning to weave baskets from Zara's grandmother. Zara was fearless, always the first to climb the highest branches, the first to dive into the shallow pools upstream. The festival arrived with drums and dancing. The whole village celebrated the river's bounty, the fish that fed them, the water that gave them life. But Amara noticed how mothers clutched their daughters closer as the sun began to set. That night, Zara shook Amara awake. "Come with me," she whispered. "I want to see the river at midnight. They say it glows during the festival." Amara remembered her promise to her mother, but Zara's excitement was infectious. They crept through the village, past sleeping huts and smoldering cooking fires. The moon hung full and bright overhead, painting everything silver. The river called to them with a sound like distant singing. At the water's edge, Zara laughed and dipped her toes in. The river did glow, a soft, ethereal blue that seemed to pulse with its own heartbeat. "It's beautiful," Zara breathed, wading deeper. Amara saw it first, shapes moving beneath the surface, graceful and deliberate. "Zara, come back," she called, but her friend was transfixed, walking deeper into the glowing water. The water exploded upward in a column of light and spray. Amara screamed as tendrils of liquid wrapped around Zara's waist, her arms pulling her down. Zara's eyes met Amara's, not afraid, but wondering, before she vanished beneath the surface. Amara dove in after her, but the river was suddenly deeper than it should be, darker. Her lungs burned as she searched, but Zara was gone. When she finally surfaced, gasping, the village alarm drums were already beating. The chief was inconsolable. Warriors searched the river for 3 days, dragging the bottom with nets, but found nothing. The village mourned. Amara couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. She'd let her best friend walk into the water. She'd failed to stop her. On the 4th night, Amara visited the village mystic, Mama Ife, who lived in a hut at the forest edge. The old woman's eyes were milky with age, but she saw more than most. "You want to bring her back?" Mama Ife said. It wasn't a question. "The river god takes a bride each year," Mama Ife explained, stirring a pot of herbs that smelled of earth and rain. "It's an old debt, from when our ancestors first settled here. The river gave us life, and in return, it demands life." "How do I get her back?" Amara demanded. Mama Ife studied her for a long moment. "You must enter the spiritual world through the river at midnight. But child, know this, those who enter don't always return unchanged." Mama Ife gave Amara a small clay pot sealed with wax. "Break this only when you stand before the river god. It contains river water from the day you were born. It will remind him that you, too, belong to the river." That night, Amara returned to the river's edge. She wore her ceremonial beads, the ones her grandmother had blessed. Her hands shook as she stepped into the water at midnight, the clay pot clutched to her chest. The water accepted her like an embrace, pulling her down gently. But instead of drowning, she found herself breathing, walking along the riverbed as if through air. The underwater world glowed with its own light, schools of silver fish, forests of swaying plants, structures that looked almost like buildings. She walked for what felt like hours, following a current she could feel but not see. Other figures moved in the distance, spirits, she realized, taking the forms of fish, turtles, crocodiles. They watched her but didn't approach. The river palace rose before her, carved from living coral and decorated with pearls that glowed like small moons. Amara's breath caught in her throat. It was terrifying and beautiful in equal measure. Guards with scales instead of skin blocked her path, their spears crossed. "No living mortal enters the palace," one said in a voice like rushing water. But Amara stood tall. "I seek audience with the river god. I have something that belongs to him." They led her through halls lined with treasures from the surface world, golden masks, ancient weapons, ceremonial cloths. And there, in a side chamber, Amara saw them, the girls. Dozens of them, from years past, sitting in a circle, their eyes distant and dreaming. "Zara," Amara called, but her friend didn't respond. She sat braiding water weeds, humming a song Amara didn't recognize. None of the girls seemed to see her. They were there, but not quite present, caught between words. "They are not unhappy." The voice was deep and resonant, filling the water around her. Amara turned to see him, the river god, tall and ancient, with skin like polished river stones and eyes that held the depth of the ocean. He wore a crown of coral and his presence made the water itself bow. "They dream here," he continued, gesturing to the girls. "They dream of perfect lives, perfect loves, perfect days. They feel no pain, no sorrow. Is that not better than what your world offers them?" Amara's anger fled. "They didn't choose this. You took them. Zara has a family, a life, a future. Let her go." The river god smiled, sad and ancient. "I am lonely, child. I have been alone since the first waters flowed. Your people promised me companionship when they made their bargain. Then take me instead," Amara said, surprising herself. "Release all of them, and I'll stay willingly." She held up the clay pot. "I was born of the river, just as they were. But I choose to be here. That should mean something." The river god studied her for a long time. "Do you understand what you're offering? An eternity here, beneath the waves, away from sun and sky and everything you've known." Amara nodded, though her heart hammered against her ribs. "I understand." "Break the pot," the river god commanded. Amara did, and the water inside, water from the day of her birth, swirled out, mixing with the river around them. The river god breathed it in, and his expression changed. "You were born during the flood season." The river rejoiced that day. "I remember you," he said softly. A crying infant held up to the river by her mother, blessed in the traditional way. The first child born after the long drought. "We celebrated your arrival." He reached out and touched her face with fingers like cool water. "You have always belonged to the river, haven't you?" The river god closed his eyes. "I have been choosing the wrong brides," he said finally. "I thought I needed someone taken, someone held. But what I truly need is someone who chooses to understand me, to know me as I am." He looked at Amara. "Will you teach me about choice, river daughter?" "I will," Amara said. "But not as a bride trapped here forever. Visit me in dreams. Walk with me in the shallows when I come to the water's edge. Let me be your friend, not your prisoner. Let me teach your people about you, and you about them." The river god laughed, and the sound was like rain on leaves. "Clever child. Very well. I will release all these daughters. I will take no more brides by force. But you will be my bridge between our worlds. Will you accept this?" Amara agreed, and the river god touched each sleeping girl. One by one, they woke as if from a long dream. Zara blinked and saw Amara, and joy flooded her face. "You came for me," she whispered. "I knew you would." The river god sent them all up through the water, gentle as a tide. They emerged at dawn, all the missing girls spanning a decade, gasping and alive on the riverbank. The village woke to miracles and weeping mothers, and Chief Okonkwo held his daughter as if he'd never let her go. Amara became the village's new river keeper, the one who spoke to the god in the water and ensured the old bargain was kept in a new way, through respect, not sacrifice. Sometimes at night, when she sat by the water's edge, the river god would rise up in the spray to talk with her, to share stories of the deep places. She'd chosen a strange path, but it was hers. And in choosing it freely, she'd saved everyone, including an ancient, lonely god who'd forgotten what friendship meant. The river no longer took. Instead, it gave, and received in return the one thing it had always needed: understanding.